Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of The Voice of Rio Grande. It's a great day in Rio Grande today. It's beautiful here. Fall has started. It's really in the air, and I can't think of a better time to have the guests that we are welcomed or are very fortunate to have today, and that is Mr. Ray McKinniss. And Ray is here to talk to us today about a lot of things, but most importantly on our minds, because this is coming up in a couple of days, is the Bob Evans Farm Festival. And we are really looking forward to it. I understand that that we're coming up on this is our 45th year, but before we get into that a little bit,
sure.
Ray, I wanted to take a minute and share with our viewers and our listeners just what a great impact you've had on my life in the last year. It's just been great to meet you. When I came to this area to learn more about the people here and this great institution, you were one of the first people I met. I actually had a breakfast in the restaurant here at the Bob Evans restaurant, and you were so kind and came over and talked to me, and I really appreciated it. It made an impression on me, and it's the people here that drew me here and I think keep people here. So thank you for that. And I feel like I'm just in such the shadow of greatness too, because during this last year, you have done. I've seen you receive some great awards and really be honored for everything you bring to the community, and it's been nice to see. I know we were at the Gallia County Chamber event. I guess that was back in the spring, and you were honored with the Bud and Donna McGee Service Award.
Yes.
And that was really a special moment.
It was special. Bud and Donna McGee were two great people in our community who did a lot for our community, and we were very pleased to be able to honor them by naming this award for them. You know, they named me to that award this year, and when I look back and look at the people who have won that award in the past, boy, I tell you, I just don't know that I even fit in the category with those people, because there are so many people who've done so many great things for our community, and they are it's just really quite an honor for me to have been named to that award.
I can understand. Yeah, you would say that because you're very humble, but you were also, I watched you in the 4th of July parade in Gallipolis as the Grand Marshal. So I just feel like I'm with this a VIP
Well, now what you have to understand is there's a funny story behind that Grand Marshal thing.
Okay.
When I was a president of the chamber, and I was also a couple times been the head of the River Recreational Festival, and during those festivals, we always had a hard time finding a Grand Marshal for the parade. We'd ask media people to be the Grand Marshal, and we'd ask different people to be the Grand Marshal. We always had a hard time finding that. So one year, as I was the chairman of the River Rec Festival, I said, okay, here's what we'll do. The person that receives the Bud and Donna McGee Award automatically becomes the Grand Marshal of the parade. Not thinking that I would ever be that person. So there it was. When I got the award in January, then I knew I was going to be the Grand Marshal of the parade.
That was your own devices, right?
Yep.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the festival. It's coming up in just a couple of days. I experienced my first one last year, and I just look forward to experiencing some of the new things because you just cannot take it all in one year. But you've been with Bob Evans now with the company for 35 years.
Correct.
Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about what we can expect at the festival this year.
We are really looking forward to the festival. Everything's come together very good, and the team we have working on it, setting it up and organizing it is a team that's got a lot of experience and making the festival that it is and it should be. We'll have new entertainers this year. As a matter of fact, we've probably got one of the biggest entertainers in bluegrass music coming on Saturday evening, and Ricky Skaggs will be at the farm up and what we call up the holler on Saturday night. He'll be up there, and it's an admission fee's $10 for that. And so it's come and get your tickets and go to the concert. It's going to be a great evening of entertainment. Then on Sunday afternoon, we have the #1 bluegrass singer female in Rhonda Vincent. Will be here Sunday afternoon about 3 o'clock, and that's just the price of admission to come to the festival. So for $5, you get into the festival and you get to see Rhonda Vincent. And those are tremendous entertainers. we have a lot of different crafters this year that they've come in. We've added a different deal this year that we've never done before. We're having pig races. We have pig races, and they're going to bring some lambs and some goats and some ducks and some geese to race around this little track they have, and it's really fun. The guy that does it is quite an entertainer, and it's quite fun to watch him do it. We've enjoyed having him here.
I can't
watching him do
wait.
it before. That
will be really unique.
Yes, it is. Very unique for our area.
I can't wait to experience that. And that's one of the things I noticed about the festival last year, is that there's just so much to offer different people. I mean, there's something for everyone. Of course, the food, that goes without saying. I've been thinking about many of the items for a year now, just waiting. So,
well, you know what we try to do is we try to bring items to the festival that people don't get to see every day. Like, for example, there'll be horseshoeing. Now, people don't get to see people shoe a horse very often. We don't get to see them shear a lamb, and we have that. We don't get to see them milk a cow, and we have that available for people to see. So it's kind of neat to see people do those kinds of things that they don't really get to see. And we have candle making, we have soap making, we have a blacksmith. I mean, just stuff that people don't get to see every day. Leathersmith.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff that, our kids never saw.
Right.
I got to see a little bit of it with my grandparents, and some people got to see that in that part of their life. But
right.
And overall, they don't get to see that kind of stuff.
That's neat, and I think that that experience for people, it just opens eyes to see what's there. I know it kind of takes me back to the day I grew up we had a small family farm, and my grandfather had a little bit larger farm, but just thinking about the days of shearing sheep, I remember those days so vividly. But my children didn't get that same experience of watching that, helping with that, bagging the wool, all of those things, and it's just a really neat experience. So I'm glad we have that.
And the good thing is, with the people who do that, we have a narrator who tells what's going on and talks a little bit about it. And Hank Forgey's does the sheep, and he's the narrator, and he doesn't actually physically do the sheep anymore, but he's been with the festival every year for 45 years. Wow. Hank Forgey has been.
That's really neat. Well, can you tell me a little bit about the history of it's 45 years of history, but can you tell me a little bit about how this got started, or kind of highlights?
Actually, this festival was an idea of a former governor of the state of Ohio, James Rhodes.
Okay.
He and Bob Evans were good friends, and he told Bob one time, he said, "You need to have a festival here on the farm." And so Bob decided that was a good idea, and the company bought into the idea, and we've had a festival here ever since. Okay. And basically, it was started to thank our supplier, our people who supplied us with product at the restaurants, and people who were in the grocery stores, the meat managers, and those are the kind of people who the festival was set up for originally. And we brought those folks to the farm and treated them. And as years went on, it just kept growing and growing, and to where it is today.
That's really neat. So I'm sure over the years you've had some really memorable experiences. Those things that just kind of stick out for one reason or another. Can you tell me a couple of those?
Yeah, I can. And you know what? Every single one of the things I've thinking about, well, not every one, but a lot of them, have to do with weather, because it seems like the weather changes around that weekend every year. Either it's warm and then it gets colder, or sometimes it's colder and it warms up a little bit maybe, but not so many times that happens. Usually it's colder, the opposite. But we've had years where, I remember one year, it got so cold that the lines we had servicing the Coca-Cola machines froze solid, and we had to pour hot water. We had to run hot water out of the coffee machines and pour on the Coca-Cola lines to thaw those out so we could serve product.
Wow!
I remember that. And my first festival experience was actually, I was a student here at the University of Rio Grande, and I worked as a parking cars for a fraternity, Alpha Sigma Phi, and we. I think it was the year after I graduated, maybe 2 years after I graduated. It'd been 78. It rained so hard that year that we pushed cars out of that parking lot all weekend long, pushed them in the parking lot all weekend long. And there was a guy who brought a camper in there. This camper was, in '78, a Bluebird was a big camper.
Okay.
And there was a lot of people who had this camper, and it had 10-day tags on it, 30-day tags on it, you know, so it was pretty new. And we're trying to get him out of there, and I said, I don't know where to hook onto this thing, because, you know, it's brand new. I don't want to damage it in any fashion. He says, just hook it on right here in this area. You do it like this, and so I said, okay. So I said, but how do you know that'll work? He said, that's the way they hooked when they pulled me in here. I'm thinking,
oh, God.
You've got a $300,000 camper, and we
pulling
pulled you in, now we're pulling you out. You know, I don't understand that.
That's funny.
Another year we had, it was in, well, what was it? When did Sarah Palin run for vice president with McCain? That was a couple, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
She was in Gallia County at the time, and it was quite a funny little thing because we had Del McClurry coming to play at the festival, and everybody thought that Sarah Palin was going to come to the festival because she was in Gallia County at the time. So somebody saw her at Walmart, and they thought they saw her bus coming out our way, and people kept coming to the festival. They just kept coming and coming and coming, and we had one of the biggest Sunday crowds we'd ever had because people wanted to see Sarah Palin. Mm-hmm. And they get there, and they kept asking us, is she coming? Well, we knew she wasn't coming because we had contacted the information that said that she was on her way to Marietta. So we knew she wasn't coming, but we weren't telling anybody because we were afraid they might leave.
Right.
So they're all coming to the festival, and this big bus come in, and it was the Del McClurry band. So they come rolling in, and he came up 325 and 141 out of Huntington, the back road to Kerrville Road. And when he got there, people just flocked to the bus. There was a big red bus, and people just flocked up to it. Then they said, is this her? And I said, no, this is the band. This is the band. Oh, it's got to be her. It's got to be her. Well, obviously it wasn't. Right. And the bus driver got off. And I said, why did you guys come this back way? He said, because that's the way that the GPS told us to come up the back road. He said, the people are glad to see us because they're all waving at us. I said, well, they all thought you were Sarah Palin.
Sorry to disappoint,
yeah,
huh?
sorry to disappoint you, everybody, but those were pretty fun experiences.
That's really neat. And you know what, I've also watched and participated in a lot of the other events you guys have had going on. And you're able to really just build, from a tourism standpoint, just so many things that bring people with different passions and different interests together. And those have been really great. Can you tell me a little bit about those other kinds of events?
We've tried to do different things to bring people to the farm and different activities. For example, we have in our museum, which is the history of the company and the history of Bob and Jewel and when they lived in the homestead house. Upstairs in that building, there are 2 rooms that we have available that we do different exhibits in. A couple of years ago, we did the Wizard of Oz exhibit. And people ask us, why are you doing the Wizard of Oz? Well, it's because we want to bring people into the farm that had never been there before. And we did. We brought a lot of different people in who had never been to the farm before, never been to that restaurant there, but wanted to see the Wizard of Oz. Yeah. So they came and looked at it, and we thought that was a great thing. We have a car show there now that we started this past year. We had one years ago, and it was a really good car show, and it just got old, and so and it went away. We brought it back this year, and that's a good thing. We have the Emancipation Celebration, which we had a few weeks ago at the farm, celebrating the Abraham Lincoln's signing of the Emancipation Proclamation. We had the 152nd anniversary of that celebration at the farm this year.
That's impressive.
It's really, yeah, when you think about a group of people who put something together all this time, that really helped. That makes a big statement for Gallia County especially. And
you had Jackie Joyner Kersey was
there. She had a great crowd in there. Yeah. And we're in the middle of planning for next year. So we really don't know what we're going to do next year, but it'll be equally as fine.
I bet it will. I bet it will. One of the things that I think I'm messing our technology up here, but other kinds of things that I know our listeners like to hear about is about your family and about just kind of, and I know you have a great family. I've met Terry and I've met your 3 sons, And can you tell me a little bit about your family?
Sure, I can. I have my wife Terry. We've been married for. Golly, Nez, I have to think this out now. I should have thought through this probably.
You'll be in trouble later.
I'm in trouble. So we've been married 39 years in December.
Wow.
We have 3 sons. Heath is our oldest, Justin and Travis. And Heath and Travis both graduated from Rio Grande.
Okay.
Justin attended here for a couple of semesters, but he ended up graduating from Marshal. Heath is a school teacher, and his wife Melissa graduated from Rio Grande, and she's a school teacher. Heath's in Oak Hill, Melissa's in Wellston.
Okay.
Justin is working for the Glimpser Properties.
Okay.
And his wife is a teacher in one of the in a daycare center in Columbus. She's administrator in a daycare center in Columbus.
Okay.
And Travis works for State Farm, and his wife is a teacher in Wellston as well.
Okay. Well, it's a wonderful family, and I know they're real supportive of what you do, and just kind of all in, right?
Yeah, they
have to be.
Yeah, when I took this job with Bob Evans, they said we're in too.
Yeah.
We're there, so
that's right.
They've been a part of it. They've all worked here once. I mean, every single one. My wife, the boys have all done something here at the farm to help us make this thing successful.
That's what it takes. It really takes everyone, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And I know that our campus community, one of the things that I was really excited to learn about when I heard about the festival, and I wondered how as a campus we're involved and we partner with you guys, and we take a service day on our campus on Friday so that we have no classes, and we encourage and really expect that our campus community is going to be involved and help. And I think that's been a really good partnership.
Well, it has been. It has been a great partnership. Since the festival started back in 71, this group, this university has been a part of the festival. I mean, our group, the fraternity I belong with, we started in 72 parking cars.
Wow.
So, we've all been involved in it all this time, parking, doing something with the festival. And it got at one point it was kind of a tricky little situation because some of the professors were given tests on Friday of the festival and given mandatory requirements to be in class on Friday of the festival, and it was kind of a tough thing because these students are trying to raise money for their organizations, or in some cases are just working where we hired them individually to work.
Right.
And they couldn't fulfill their responsibilities because they had to be in class, and then the next year after that happened, a couple of years, we talked to the president at the time, and he instituted a service day, which
that's
really
good,
worked out pretty well.
And that's stayed around. I'm really glad that it has.
It did too. It helps us a lot.
And we do a lot of things on campus during the this week leading up to the Farm Fest. Just things that we do with our students. They're very active, and they have a lot of activities going on. And I think there's just a spirit in the air this week and every week this time of year as we all prepare for that. So we really do look forward to being a partner and continuing to be a partner and thinking about new ways that we can help, because I've seen that the festival, just from what I can tell, it changes, it evolves. There are those things that are constant, but like you said, the musicians that are coming, wow, that you're able to attract and get that kind of talent here.
Exactly right.
That's really very exciting.
The big thing that helped us a lot was in 2011 when we changed the whole festival grounds. We changed the whole. That was before you got here. We threw and leveled everything out and took the hills and the valleys out and made it all real level and easy for people to get around. And we did that in 2011, and that really changed the complexion of the whole festival and gave us a different feel for the whole thing. We went with a different style of tent, and it made it easier for people to get around in, and that whole. If somebody hasn't been to the festival for several years, this
like a new festival.
Oh, yes, it's like a new festival ground.
That's really neat. I didn't realize that. So that's always thinking about improvements.
That's exactly right.
So the festival, it attracts so many people from far and wide, and I bet that's something that you've enjoyed over the years, just kind of meeting people that are coming from. Well, there's those people probably that are faithful and come every year, and then you have people that have come from all kind of walks of life and all places.
We meet people from all over the place. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine who lives in Orlando. She said a guy who works for her and her husband, and his parents live in Logan, Ohio, and he said, she told me, she said, so-and-so's parents live in Logan, they're coming to the festival. I said, well, tell them to look me up. Well, they looked me up, and now we've become friends.
Oh, that's neat.
And we get all kinds, there's a lot of people who keep coming to the festival year after year, and they look us up, and they say, how you doing? And of course, the crafters are all like that. But the guests are, we see a lot of guests are like that as well.
Right, right. Well, tell me, because I experienced the food, and I think that I'm very anxious to do that again this year, but what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite item that you always look forward to at the festival? Or
Yes, I think so. I really look forward to the Smoky Boy sandwich.
Ah,
I like that sandwich. I also like to eat, I only eat it once a year, and I eat it on Sunday morning, and that's biscuits and gravy. I only eat it once a year, and I eat it at Farm Festival on Sunday morning.
Yeah,
that's
your tradition.
It's just a tradition thing I've always done.
Well, I couldn't pick because the apple dumplings were awesome.
People like those.
I stood in line and would for hours for the kettle corn.
Yes.
I mean, just, I can go down the list. So that's just a lot of fun. I hope that this festival is just the best one ever.
Well, the weather looks like it's going to be good, so we anticipate it being where we want it to be.
But as you say, you just never know. It can turn on a dime around here at this time of year. But
we've had festivals where we've had a great festival all weekend long, and at 5 o'clock when it closes and we're getting ready to tear it down, it just starts raining. You know, but that's okay because we get the festival in. At least now we got to put it away in the rain.
Well, speaking of setting up and taking down, and the Army that it takes to do that. Tell me a little bit about your staff, because I know that they are just key for you.
They are. I wouldn't trade these people for the world. We start setting the festival up. Actually, this year we started before Labor Day. The tents went up before Labor Day. Normally they go up around Labor Day weekend, and we start putting them up and we start working on them and getting ready for the festival. My staff will work from Labor Day until the Saturday after the festival is the next day they have off. They work every day through that time period. Now, if they have a time they need to be off for something, we make sure they can get that.
Right.
But the key thing you have to know is there's only 6 of them that put that thing together out there.
Whoa! I had no idea.
Yeah, there's not very many people.
Yeah.
And
they work hard.
They work their tails off. We start early in the mornings and we work till late in the evenings. And during the festival itself, 6 o'clock is start time, and usually 9:30 or 10 o'clock, sometimes 11 o'clock, they go home and they come back the next morning and start again. Now, the Monday after the festival, there's not a lot of production getting done. There's a little bit of talking about how great the festival was, and everybody's got their stories they want to tell about something that they experienced that none of the rest of us got to experience.
Right,
Those are the things that are really great to hear.
Yeah, that's really neat. But wow, what a commitment and dedication.
They are. I tell people. I used to talk to our managers in training. They used to come to the farm every couple of weeks, and we'd talk to them about the history of the company and those kind of things. And one time, one of them asked me, said, "How do you have such a dedicated staff?" I said, "Well, it's very simple. These people drank the KoolAid years ago, and they get it in their system. Like, I've got people that work for us, work for the company for 38 years, 35 years, 25 years, 15, 20 years. I mean, I came to the farm in 1995, and I'm basically the new guy.
Wow.
At the farm.
I've noticed that a lot around here, just on our campus too, that there's a lot of people who they are at some point they drank that KoolAid,
exactly
and
right.
And it's powerful. It is really powerful. I think I've definitely done the same thing, and I found the KoolAid, and it's really it's the people that make this place and the fiber, and that's for the community, for this campus, for the farm. I mean, I just don't think there's anything quite like it.
This whole there may be other places in this world like this place, but I can't imagine where they are, because the thing is, the people that work for me, 3 of them came to here to go to college and stayed there. Yeah.
There's so much connection.
Yeah.
And people really care about this university and the community and what they can give back. Right. So it's really it's been a neat thing. I know we're going to run out of time, and we talked about this before we started the show, that it was going to go so fast, and we were going to have many things we wanted to talk about that we wouldn't. We're now in the 7th week of classes, so for our students, we're right at about that midpoint. So they're getting ready for midterms, and you know, really getting their semester kind of over the hump. But you know, it's also, there's an energy on the campus that somehow from the very beginning of this semester has just been sustained. And things are not always easy with any organization or any institution, and people, you know, have challenges, and we definitely have our challenges, but it's really been neat to see kind of that momentum and adrenaline that we were talking about earlier just continue throughout the semester, and I hope it continues for us, for the farm, for, you know, everything that's to come. I wanted to take a second to just welcome and give a special shout out to those from Huntingdon and the Charleston area through Armstrong Cable that may be joining us today. We're happy to have all of our viewers and our listeners. It's always just a lot of fun and a treat for us to just to share some things with you and introduce you to some things you may have known about, but maybe not to the level that we get to talk about them here. You know, and I want to thank our producers, Patrick Dingle and Mike Thompson. They do just a fabulous job of helping us line up these programs, and we just really appreciate everything that you guys do. The next show that I'll be involved in is with the president of Ohio State University. I know I'm supposed to say the Ohio State University, right? Yeah. I just haven't quite, I don't have that down quite yet. But Dr. Michael Drake, he and I will be sitting down together. We've had a chance to get to know each other over the last year, and he is just, he's a fabulous leader and someone that I look forward to talking to in the next show. Also, we have, if you haven't tuned in, and you may be interested in this since we've been talking about music a little bit today, Ray, one of our students, Luke Lawrence, he has a new show. It's called Babylon Radio, and he features local musical artists. And it's really kind of neat if you can tune into that, but we're really proud of Luke. We're going to lose him soon as a student. Maybe we can we try to hold on to him, though, and keep him around. But Ray, and as we part, because I think we just have a matter of seconds, do you have any words of wisdom for our viewers and our listeners? You know what? I do have some. I was the director of alumni here at the college. And when I was the director of alumni, everybody had an idea of what they wanted to do. You got to do this, Ray. You got to do that. And I found a phrase that I've lived by since then. It said, "The right to criticize brings with it the obligation to get involved." And I've tried to live by that, and I think that's a good thing for people to follow. I think it is too. That is wonderful, and it's a great way to conclude our show today. And I just I really appreciate you being here, and it's been a treat. And I hope to see you guys on our next show. Have a good one. Good deal.